1 liter, is it any quick? Is it any good? Is it the same car? Wow. And this is really surprising. When the Kushaq was launched, we all thought that everybody would just go and get the top of the line 1.5 TSI Evo engine version of the SUV. That sadly doesn't seem to be the case. 80% of all queries I get are about the 1 liter, and that's mainly because the 1 liter engine is a better value proposition for most people, considering the fact that, well, everything else stays exactly the same as the 1.5. So, do people want less power now? Is it just because it's cheaper? Well, we thought we'd find out and tell you. One of the great things that Škoda has done with the 1 liter is they've made no real differentiator between the way this looks and the 1.5 looks in this top spec fully loaded version. So if your neighbor gets a 1.5 liter and if you get a 1 liter, in the great social scheme of things, he won't really know, unless of course he peeks under your hood, which no decent neighbor should. And it's not just the outside, the inside's exactly the same too. So you get the fully loaded cabin with the cooled seats, and well, it still doesn't get the instrument cluster, the digital instrument cluster, which the Taigun does. So let's do a quick figure check. The 1 liter 3-cylinder engine is turbocharged and makes 115 horsepower and 178 Newton meters of torque. Basically, it's the exact same engine that you get in a Polo GT. Right, so in terms of gearbox options, you get the manual or you get the torque converter automatic, and it's 2021. Why would you even consider getting a manual gearbox? Just get the automatic. And history has taught us that the torque converter is extremely reliable. So if you do have concerns over DSG reliability, that's one thing you can tick off your box, your checklist, because this is going to be a reliable gearbox. It isn't going to break down probably ever if you just go through your service schedules normally. In general, it's a very responsive gearbox. It does what it is supposed to do. It's quick, it's smooth. It just works well, and that's really what you want from a family car, don't you? You get paddle shifters. If you really want to go sporty, you get a sport mode on the bottom, or you can put into Tiptronic and use the manual shifter up and down. But just leave it in D or leave it in S, and it'll do the job really well for you. Our SUV's engine undergo a lot of stress both in city driving and on tough terrains, particularly during warm-up and in stop-start traffic, and of course while carrying heavy loads. Ordinary car oils may not be enough for your SUV, and that is why we recommend fully synthetic Castrol magnetic SUV for superior protection. So unsurprisingly now, we are about to get stuck in some nasty start-stop traffic, and a lot of Kushaq 1 liter automatic buyers are actually going to be first-time automatic buyers. That's something that we've realized from the calls and the queries that we've received. And one of the things that they are concerned about is how the creep function works, because with a manual, you get complete control of how fast the car goes in traffic. With this, it's up to how the manufacturer tunes it, right? Yes, and Škoda has done a damn good job with this, because what they've done is not made that creep function very lungy, very sudden. It's very, very gradual. It gets you to about 15 or 18 kilometers per hour, and in really bad traffic, you don't even have to touch the throttle pedal. You can literally use it as a one pedal car. Just get off the brake, on the brake again, get off the brake, on the brake again, till you get out of traffic. And it's comfortable, it's easy to drive, and that's something that's actually a great plus point for a lot of people who are going to end up getting one of these. Now, some cars behave very differently on tarmac as compared to what they would do on paper. Sadly, this isn't the case with the Kushaq 1 liter. There is that inherent lack or loss of power that you feel as compared to the 1.5 especially, and that really affects it on open roads like the Mumbai-Pune Expressway, or just on open Indian highways in general. You would really want that extra horsepower to get a move on quickly. 0 to 100, for example, just takes too long. It's well over 10 seconds as compared to the 1.5, which does it well under the 10-second mark. But strangely, in-gear performance isn't too disappointing. So for example, if you wanted to get from 60 to 100 or 80 to 120 gradually, then this thing is pretty much on the ball. It does it decently well. Don't expect any really quick bursts of acceleration from this engine and gearbox combination. The gearbox can do it, it's not like it can't, just that the overall car just isn't meant to do those quick bursts of acceleration like we're so used to the Polo doing with the same engine and gearbox combination. Flip side, of course, is the fact that this thing does give better gas mileage as compared to the 1.5, and for a buyer of this car who's consciously taken the call not to spend that extra 1.5 or 2 lakh rupees and not get the 1.5 liter engine and get this smaller engine, it really doesn't make a difference. Gas mileage does, performance not so much. So let me sum this up. If you do want to move up from that smaller hatchback or that sedan or that small SUV that you've owned for the last couple of years and want to get something more premium, especially for your friends to look and say wow at, then the Skoda Kushaq makes sense. Now the 1 litre only makes sense if you really don't care about performance and really don't need that extra horsepower to go that much faster, which in any case you mostly can't. So this car actually does make a lot more sense to the buyer who just wants a Skoda Kushaq because it's a nice car and he likes the way it looks and the way it feels on the inside and the way it generally drives. Does that mean this could be the most popular or the nicest one in the segment? Well, I personally would definitely buy a 1.5 because you know how we are as auto journalists. We just want more horsepower all the time. But for the regular Joe, this is the best Kushaq that you can buy. And that's pretty much strange, isn't it? The smaller engine one is a better car. Who would have thought?